Hi there everyone, so thanks for joining me on this live video, and if you're tuning in for the first time, then my name is Marianne Hanson. I'm a confidence and self-worth coach. I'm also a counsellor. I work with couples and individuals mainly around relationships, but I also work with individuals around stress and depression. Now this is my third live video for the evening. Fourth, actually. You can go over to my personal page, Marianne Hanson, where you can find one of my live videos. I've also done a live video on NU Journeys counselling page, and my other page, A Debt-Free Life. And this is my final video. And before I start this video, I do want to say to people that it is a bit of a sensitive topic, and if there's anyone that is kind of feeling upset by what's been said, or it's triggered something for you, then you can definitely send me a message. I'll be happy to support you in that way. And you may also feel that you want to do some work around this, meaning that I would be happy to work with you too as a coach. So lots of topics, I feel, do not get enough discussion, and anytime there are issues that are just there under the surface but we don't talk about them, then you can get to a point where really the person who is experiencing it just feels like they're the only one, and that nobody understands, and that what's the point in talking about this, because it doesn't get heard, it's pointless. And this topic around skin bleaching, light skin, dark skin, discussions has been going on for like years, so it's nothing new. We've all seen pictures of like before and after celebrities where it's been known they've used skin bleaching. One of the biggest things is the fact that skin bleach products are $1 billion or even $1 million business, and they're not just in the countries where you think, there's lots of Asian countries, Chinese countries, especially in the Caribbean as well. In Jamaica, bleaching is really popular and really sold everywhere. Nigeria. I've watched so many things on YouTube and on TV about this. So that's the key thing really. Why are these companies all around the world promoting a product which is basically effectively about lightening people's skins? So the reason for this, I think, I've took some notes on this, but recently Stef Ilan, I think her name's Stef Ilan, it might be Stefan, I can't pronounce her name. Anyway, she did a tweet, and the tweet was years ago. I think it was from 2013, but it came to light recently because she's only just like hit the big time with this massive hit. Give me a second, I'm gonna just put the light. Okay, that's better. She has only just come to have this massive hit, and so she tweeted that something along the lines of, all of these dark skinned girls are hating on me because I'm light skinned, and all of this. Now, she probably didn't realise 4 years ago when she tweeted it that it was going to be a big deal. She probably didn't realise she was going to be as big as she is, famous wise. But so many people have like responded to that, especially like dark skinned girls, and they've said, oh, I was a massive fan and I'm not a fan of hers anymore. Why is she hating on other skin colours and thinks she's black herself and all of this? And it just goes to show it's still like an issue. It's still a big like debate now. Basically, the suggestion around it is basically that lighter is better in some way. Now, it's not to say that everyone thinks that, and it's not to say that that's been propagated by, I don't know if that's a word, not to say that that's been pushed as an agenda, and I don't want to bring like racial stuff into it or anything like that. However, the facts are there that the bleaching companies are like making a lot of money, that there are lots of women around the world, and men actually, who are feeling as though they're going to get further in their career or further in life if they have a lighter skin. Now, I do know in Jamaica, for example, in the tourist areas, in the banks, in the hotels, it has been known that they will only hire like fairer skinned people in those environments when they're at the front end, because they say that that's their preference. I've been told that by like Jamaicans who live there. So it just goes to show really, if that's like what's been told to you, that you're gonna not get ahead or not get as far if you're like of a darker skin, which is something you can't do nothing about, and which also is basically telling you that it's a negative thing, when in fact you probably feel really comfortable and feel quite good about you know, who you are as a person. But if everywhere around you they're showing images on billboards, in advertising, especially big in modelling. If you look at when Alec Weck, the really, really dark model, but not just that, she had striking features, she had no hair, or low cut hair, really tall, really skinny, but really dark, and that was the focus on her. And also I'm really rubbish with names. Nyanga, who, anyway, 12 Years a Slave, that lady. The big deal it was, because it was like, oh, this is a model and they're putting her on the front stages, and it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be, oh, you know, this is a big deal. It should be seen as natural. Now, the impact of these things really is that you're seeing celebrities that are going on shows, and that you can see the before and after. So if you are someone that looks up to those celebrities, and then you see that they've lightened their skin, I mean, let's forget talking about Michael Jackson, because that's another whole video. But it's kind of then giving whoever's watching the impression that, okay, they've got further because of what they do. Could they have got as far with the talent that they had unless they bleached their skins? And I think it's something to consider really. Now, I feel really as well that I do have to also talk about the fact that some people, not all, who've got, like, whether they've bleached or they've just got fair skins or born naturally with fair skin, will also get into this debate with other, like, black women usually, who are dark, and they'll say things like, you know, men prefer light skins, you know, it's prettier. And then men will come in on it as well and be like, yeah, you're pretty for a dark girl. It's all of these things are things that I've heard, not myself personally, I've never heard any of this stuff. But what I've watched on YouTube, or what I've heard people say to me that they've been told, when I've read stories about it as well. And you have to think about it really, how does that massively impact on that person? You're going about your daily life, you feel beautiful about who you are, you are, you know, celebrated within your family, you're told that you're beautiful, you believe it, you feel it, you're just going along. But then everywhere you go, at every turn, someone is saying, well, if you were lighter, and oh, I prefer light skinned girls, or maybe have you tried bleaching, or all this sort of stuff. I think it does have an impact. The impact that I've written down here is, for some people, they find it hard to celebrate who they are, because it's like that belief sinks in, they absorb it. They absorb that they're pretty, but not pretty enough. They're attractive, but they'd be more attractive if, you know, and you could say it about lots of things, you know what I mean? There's always going to be features or things that people, and this goes across the board, so this isn't just for black women. And I don't want it to seem as though, I mean, I'm focusing on bleaching, and obviously as self-esteem, I've talked about lots of things in my videos, body image, lots of things affect self-esteem. So there are going to be things that people feel like they're features. If I was, you know, had a bigger bum, or if I had bigger breasts, or if I had, you know, a skinnier nose. And, you know, surgery is big business as well, but we're talking about skin bleaching, and we're talking about, you know, comparisons between light and dark skins, and it is real, you know, and it's a big issue. And Stef Ilan has just, that tweet has only just opened up a can of worms, but it's always been there. So let me get back to what I was saying. Yeah, so it's the impact that it can have on women and on men sometimes, is that you don't celebrate who you are because, you know, you feel that you're not pretty enough, you're not good enough, you're not. For some people, if you take it to extremes, they won't even go for auditions or things, or they won't push themselves forward. They'll stay back in the background. They'll have like this really deep resentment maybe towards like fairer skinned people, because they'll feel like jealous, envious, resentful, all sorts of things, but won't say it. So when that's simmering, that feeling, it might come out in other ways. You know, it could even be self-harm. It will affect their individual psyche. So I know a lot of women I've worked with over the years when I've been counselling in terms of self-worth, where their parents have even said stuff to them, you know, and it might not be, if you have like a family within a family and someone, you know, there's all this like, it's called shadism, I think it's called, where, you know, the fairer skinned members of that family are treated differently from the darker skinned. Now, even without saying anything, it's the action. And if you're a little child and that's what you see and you observe that your lighter skinned family members, cousins, friends are treated differently to you, treated in a better way, then that is going to like affect your psyche and how you see things, because the only thing you're going to attribute it to is because people like them because of, you know, maybe it could be the hair, maybe it could because they're fair, they might have like blue eyes or green eyes, and it's a big thing. So what I would say is that this comes down to parenting and also the people that are in that community. We have to like, so I'm coming on to solutions, but actually let me carry on with the impact. Not celebrating who you are. It can affect your individual psyche. It can make you idolise lighter skin and see it as being the preferred option. And that could either be that you then start to do bleaching yourself. You can look at fairer skinned people as being fantastic, put them on a pedestal, not appreciating yourself, but looking at those people as being fit, not you being inferior to those people and them being superior to you. Yeah, they're just some of the things that, you know, the impact. So what are the solutions? Because with these videos, it's not just about talking about what some of the issues are, it's also about solutions. Now, what I would say is there are a lot of people that are walking around in pain about this issue, but not just this, other things, body image, low self-esteem because of 100 things. I get people messaging me. I've also worked with people over the 8 years that have been a counsellor and also as a coach. It's massive, you know, it's not just this thing of, oh, it's no big deal, it's just something small. It's massive, especially for women as well. So some of the solutions I would say are you need to embrace yourself fully. And when I say fully, what I mean is that, you know, acceptance of yourself means that you don't say, well, I like this about myself, but, you know, I wish I could be like her, or I like this, but I want to change it, or it's not as good as blah, blah, blah. It's acceptance, full acceptance means that you say, this is how I was born, I'm unique, these are the things that I love about myself, and I don't care what other people think, I don't care what it says in the media about how I should be. I don't care if I read all these magazines and there's no one that looks like me. I don't care if there's no models that look like me, because I think, I mean, I don't want to talk about this because I always talk about this in my videos. It doesn't matter how old you are, or it doesn't matter where you live in the world. These messages are just continuous, and I don't think until people sit and talk about them or think about it, you are being brainwashed on a daily basis, because that is all you're seeing. Now, if for the people who are seeing images of themselves everywhere, that people who look like them and they're put up on this pedestal, they're going to have a positive self-esteem most of the time, not all the time, because it's just there. They can go to a magazine and see someone that looks like them. They can see it on TV in all the programs. They can see all the models that are going to look like them. All the positive things are there for them to take. Now, if you're the opposite and your parents are not showing you stuff that is positive about who you are, you're not reading it, you're not seeing it, then of course your confidence is possibly going to be low. You know, so a part of it is about embracing yourself and accepting yourself, but you have to do the work, you know. My confidence is high. It's always been high. Well, when I was a teenager, it wasn't. I've spoke about that, bullying and stuff. As an adult, I've done the work on myself, but also I've never really cared about what other people think about me. And I've never really bothered about what the media say either, about anything. So it's about getting to that level where you can just go out into the world and you can fully embrace and accept who you are. And the final thing, because I didn't want to make this a really, really lengthy video, is talk to your children. Start when they're young, you know. Teach your children to love themselves for who they are, you know. If they start making comments, so-and-so said this at school, you know, so-and-so was trying to say that my skin is horrible, or so-and-so called me a name, or so. Don't just say, ignore it. It's what some parents do. Don't just say, oh, don't worry about it. Because what you're then saying to that child is, what you've just told me isn't that important, or you're trying to protect them by saying ignore it, but it's about discussing it. Don't ever feel ashamed or scared to discuss certain topics, because, hi, whoever's joining me, I'm just wrapping up now about the impact of dark skin, light skin and bleaching. Maybe you've got some comments you want to share, but I was just talking about the solutions, really, to embrace yourself fully, accept yourself as the unique person you are, go out into the world and be proud of who you are, and teach your children, okay? Children only learn from the adults around them. When you have a 1 and a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, they don't recognise skin, they recognise skin colour, but they're not going to say, I'm not playing with that person because of their skin colour or anything like that. It's only when there's a negative attached to certain things that a child will then be like, no, I can't go near that because my mum has said this, or I've heard this, or I've been told not to. So they're the solutions, really. And if anyone watching this video wants to leave their comments, if you don't feel confident enough leaving comments, or it's a bit too sensitive, send me a message. As I've said, I'd be happy to support you. I'll continue to make live videos. They're usually going to be around anything to do with self-esteem, self-worth, confidence, because they're the areas that I'm specialising in as a coach. All my details are on this page. If you want to get in touch, you can email me, you can text, you can phone. Hi, whoever's watching, thanks for joining. I'm just wrapping up at the moment, but I hope you'll be able to catch the replay. And please, if this is an issue that resonates with you, please leave your comments. Have a fantastic weekend, and thanks for joining me, everyone. And don't forget to go over to my YouTube channel, which is called Confidence and Self-Worth Coach. To go over to my Facebook page, New Journeys Counselling, my other Facebook page, A Debt Free Life. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a brilliant weekend. Bye.